tonight's Thursday night game. We just talked about the Jets and the Browns still licking their wounds, at least for them. The good news, it's a quick, short week turnaround, but they had a team meeting on defense. I imagine the film did not lie in that building either about the 66-yarder Corey Davis that the defense was jogging after him. And then tonight as well, the Steelers with the chance for Pickett still ringing in the Acrisure ears from last week's loss to New England. How much is going to be how much is Trubisky's future up in the air, do you think, in Pittsburgh, even with this game? You would think the Browns defense is going to try and put something else on tape than what we just saw over the last 90 seconds of the game on Sunday.
This is a fascinating one. I think it's early in the season to be having players-only meetings, but, I mean, what they put on tape is the same thing that we all saw it. You know what I mean? Like, that was a meltdown at the end of the game. And so I'll be interested to see how the Browns – come out of this, and I think it's a good gut check for them early in the year. And I think they've hit the Falcons in week 4, so, I mean, you'd be talking about potentially having a chance to get to 3-1 if you're Cleveland, which, I mean, let's call this what it is. It's a test of survival for them through the first, 11 games of the season. And what's your record going to be when Deshaun Watson's ready to come back? So that's, to me, like, I think you're really going to see sort of the makeup of the team. And I think the foundation's there for them to survive this. They rushed for 400 yards over the first 2 weeks, which is pretty impressive when you consider teams are stacking the box to stop Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb with Jacoby Brissett and a reworked group of receivers in there. And then Pittsburgh, look, man, like they're saying all the right things, right? Mitch Trubisky's our guy. This is his season. We're going to go forward with him. I just know what history tells me. History tells me that first-round quarterbacks don't sit for very long. And this has typically been the sort of spot where teams will make those switches, right? When you're coming out of a Thursday game and you got 10 days to get the young guy ramped up and ready to go. In fact, I think that's the same spot that Baker Mayfield got in the lineup in, right? So I just look at this, and I think a big part of Mitch did so well in camp and in practices. And Kenny is sort of one of these guys who's a gamer, right? Like who maybe isn't overly impressive in practice, but looks great in the games. And I think a lot of this is about being able to sell the guy, whoever it is, to a veteran locker room. I think if you have another stinker from Mitch Trubisky here, you really have to think about it, despite everything that you've already said, because of how Kenny Pickett played in those preseason games and what he might be able to bring to you from a team standpoint and maybe unlocking a pretty talented receiver group that has Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool and George Pickens in it.